Maglang in the previous episode. Somewhere in the universe there is a special planet with unusual countries, one of which is the Kingdom of Magic Languages, where all the royal nobility and retinue are parts of speech, and words are living actors of the language theaters. Maglang, the Kingdom of Magic Languages. Maglang – Королівство чарівних мов. Last episode we looked at the Kingdom of Magic Languages, so to speak, from a bird's-eye view, just for acquaintance and feeling the aura of this unusual country. And now let's dive into one of the most romantic love stories in our universe. This is the meeting story and family happiness of the King Verb and his beloved wife, Queen Pronoun. Now it's even hard to imagine, but some time ago a young king, who was still a prince, could be a bachelor. Sometimes it seems that he was always with her, but there were times when the boy didn't know how to get rid of sad thoughts and confusion. And he could not speak to anyone, because there was no language yet. People communicated telepathically, sending each other pictures, images. In fact, this method of communication has its advantages. For example, a hairdresser always knows exactly what hairstyle the client wants. A tailor knows in details what dress a fashionista orders. And there may already be problems in a restaurant, because the appearance of the dish and its taste may not match. But the kingdom lived, developed, pictorial art flourished, and even music was born. The young, energetic heir to the throne felt that, except variety of pictures and colors to convey important things, there must be something else. What is it exactly, still unknown, but he dreamed of separating signs, feelings, actions from bright images and give them titles or names. Although there were no names even for the royal family, there were patented shades of colors instead of personal data. Personally, our future King Verb had a bright and very beautiful color, red magical royal rose. This is one of the sacred colors of Maglang, symbolizing life energy. And this energy really overwhelmed him and didn't give peace to the young mind. And although there were no words yet, their pale outlines were already coming to the mind of the young man. Words really wanted to be born, because they knew that people needed them and wanted to be heard, said and written. That's why they came to the prince in the form of incentives to do something, to create, to travel, to discover. And he decided to go on the road and visit the mysterious forest at the edge of the kingdom, to gain new impressions and replenish the collection of images, pictures. This decision was fateful, because there is no such thing as a coincidence in this universe. Enjoying the beauty of the mysterious forest, replenishing his collection of shades and images, the future king didn't notice that he got lost. Calling for help was not practiced in the kingdom, and the distance of sending pictures telepathically was exceeded. However, someone received his rescue signal. The prince had already started to panic, as suddenly from the thick of the forest a young girl with bright green hair appeared. A moment, and young people greeted, telepathically showing their personal colors. They looked into each other's eyes for a long time, trying to choose necessary pictures, images to describe their feelings. It was love at first sight, but they didn't know this word yet. The personal color of the future queen and it was she, turned out to be a noble color of forest leaves, a mix of all shades, as if the whole aura of the mysterious forest. It was exactly the color that Prince has dreamed of every night. Even harmony lessons at the Academy of Rainbow Sciences that he graduated with honors reminded that green and red fit each other perfectly. She took his hand and led him deep into the mysterious forest. He was ready to go with her to the edge of the world. Walking on the road, they exchanged collections of pictures for telepathy and learned almost everything about each other. They felt curiosity and fun together. It was a premonition of something exciting, although the forest was dense, a bit creepy, and the path was getting narrower. Unexpectedly, young people came out on a generously lit by sun a forest glade, as if all the rest of the path was a decoration, which scared away the prying eyes from the cozy shelter. In the middle of the glade stood a small pretty house. Prince immediately has understood that it was home of his green-haired friend. And although it was not a palace at all, he felt the aura of sweetness. As soon as our heroes entered the house, some strange creatures ran out to meet the prince's new acquaintance. Like gnomes, pets, something really unusual, it just must be seen. There were 8 of them, and they glowed with soft neon greenish colors. He, she, it, they, I, you, we, you, that were names of the little beauties. They were faithful friends and helpers of the girl. Despite the fact that young people have completely exchanged huge collections of pictures, images that were collected during all their lives, many things were incomprehensible for the prince. Starting from this new acquaintance escaped from wedding with the King Murlong the Dark, the ruler of the Kingdom of Ignorance. Her father, the king of the small kingdom of Pastel Chaise, was very angry because of this. There were still many mysteries to be discovered, but the prince for sure knew that he would never be bored with the forest beauty. She fed the young man and let him rest after a long journey. Then the girl took the prince by the hand and led him to the mysterious place. Dispersing the masking clouds of fog with her hands, Princess opened the magical tree for the prince's eyes, where the fruits of words' meanings was ripening. With great surprise, the future King Verb remembered he saw this tree in a dream. It was like someone from the Middle Ages felt that there was such a thing as the internet, but could not explain it. Suddenly, as ripe apples, his dear words verbs began to fall from the tree, to live, to know, to create, and to love. They recognized their king, the one who can see and understand them. That was the fate and the beginning of real adventures. Initial forms of words verbs, which are called in smart books infinitives, to go, to live, they are like universal soldiers or a royal guard. Their action is uncertain, who exactly goes or lives. And when you put pronouns next to them, he, she, it, they, I, you, we, or you, then the work of verbs becomes clear. And for showing more shades of meanings, the kingdom uses flowers for a long time. The verbs that fell to the feet of the future king were revealed very active, willing to change their forms, because they mean action, and action involves movement and change. Our words immediately wanted to change depending on time, past, present, future. For making the event that is now in the kingdom added a picture of the fresh, full royal rose, because it symbolized the present. And the tender bud of the royal rose symbolizes future. Picture exchange via telepathy, as well as all documentation of the Kingdom of Bright Shades, that was the name of Maglang, has its charm and uniqueness, but it was not very convenient and needed many artists, paper, paints. A new communication reform that the prince already has dreamed of was revolutionary. The dried royal rose, which is often used in art festivals of the kingdom for exquisite bouquets, symbolizes past. For explaining of something telepathically, one must send by mental connection a whole set of pictures, and it's necessary to know all of the symbols. With his friend's words, the prince began to spend training for changing forms depending on time and not only. For example, there is an important verb form, imperative. When, for example, you need to order someone to do an action. Go, do. In the Kingdom of Bright Shades, a picture of royal crown was added to set of others. In the Kingdom of Pastel Shades, the most close neighbors, where our princess come from, instead of the crown, a picture of a fist in front of a nose. But our words simply changed form. The prince and princess decided to change the traditions of sending pictures telepathically, gradually replace the pictures with words, or at least allow two ways of communication. They were inspired by the plenty of words that was maturing on the tree of meanings. In the middle of the mysterious forest, there was a real little paradise, many flowers planted by the princess, a cozy house, and two loving persons. So good when two people understand each other without words, pictures, simply because they are similar by characters, dreams, habits. The prince and princess get acquainted with new words the tree gave them. For a long time. Not all the words have matured yet, but they were already shining and shimmered with different meanings on the branches. It was time to return to the palace, and the young people could not part already. So they joined hands and went together to the parents of the prince to ask for a marriage blessing. They didn't dare to go to the parents of the princess, remembering the escape from the wedding with the hated King Murlong and anger of the father king. Behind our lovers, a stream of newborn words followed, like a train of wedding veil. Walking, they have invented the game Conjugation with Love and played it time by time. Game Conjugation with Love. It will be soon. Don't forget to subscribe this channel. By the way, Ukrainian and English are two official languages of the Maglang in this century. While the prince and the bride walked the long way to the palace, they passed through many towns and villages of the kingdom, showing mini shows with their words, played a new game, introduced a new way of communication. Fame about it went ahead of them. Everyone loved young brides and their miracles. So, having reached the palace, everything was ready for the wedding that was celebrated by the whole kingdom. To be continued. Далі буде. Maglang in the next episode. The honeymoon and the birth of the royal twins. Prince noun gives anyone names and titles. Sister adjective describes everything. What calls brother. Children play with the fruits of the tree of meanings and tame the grammatical chameleon. To be continued. Далі буде.